and then see how best we can respond to those disasters. According to also the other data here, we have this data. This is not a decoration. This is a poster that I'm trying to appreciate the power of Safaricom communication. When Zanzibar ferry capsized, I saw the information being posted on the internet. When I saw that information being posted on the internet, I observed that the scene of disaster at Zanzibar was not coordinated. There was a lot of confusion. And then I went, by that time I was staying at a place called Ngong. I went to the nearest kiosk and bought a Safaricom card of 1,000 shillings. Then I loaded into my phone. Having loaded that credit card to my phone, I went back to internet and downloaded the Zanzibar police stations. The Zanzibar police stations, so that I may liaise with one of the senior officers and assist him by giving him directions on how to undertake the rescue operations effectively. I tried all these numbers, and though I had a problem calling these numbers, but later I was directed by the Safaricom customer care on how to call Zanzibar number, how to call somebody in Zanzibar, the way to dial those numbers, and then they gave me those numbers. It was successfully. I tried to call a number of offices, but at long last I managed to call Malindi police station, where I found an officer equivalent to Kenyan. His rank was equivalent to the Kenyan rank police commissioner, the head of the police. Then he was a friendly man. We talked in a friendly way. He used to address me brother. Then I told him, sir, I have observed in a scene of disaster, in a scene of the capsized ferry disaster, it was uncoordinated scene. This is the following instructions that please take them so that you may go and review that scene for ensuring success of its operation. The said senior officer thanked me for the information, and then we kept on communicating. I gave him instructions on how to survey, scan, and search a scene of disaster, and how to compete with the time, because time is the main enemy in a scene of disaster. When the disaster strikes, all of a sudden they went, and we kept on communicating for a number of days, of which the rescue operation was successful, though there were reported cases of missing persons, and a number of people managed to died. Later, at around this year, 2014, is when the government of Zanzibar, they forwarded to me this gift in alleging that I offered very important information, and they also brought me a CD of how the rescue operation was undertaken. And later they told me at my own time they have invited me to go and visit their country without any condition. They sent an officer from their country to bring me this gift, of which I accepted with humanity. Now, that is the end of presentation. Let us now proceed to the data, how the data is going to assist us First of all, the benefits of this data, it is not only aimed at our country, Kenya. I've targeted the whole world, and there is no need of an institution, those undertaking research, to go and continue collecting other more data. This one is enough. But the main challenge with this data, the data keeps on increasing, and the death toll keeps on climbing. An example is the recent data. This occurrence happened in April. Now, this is the right place to put this data here. Such that it means that the data keeps on climbing. It's not constant. Observation made on this data indicates that there is very large amount of time for community to get into trouble. Troubles concerning safety, troubles concerning disaster, and troubles concerning security. Because this data is not constant. I have gone through all this data and established that the most serious of the observation is that there is a very great amount of time for communities to enter into problem. Then, if we fail to take immediate action from today, we are going to move from what we call disaster to horrible disasters, or disasters to LSSDs, large-scale sudden disasters. An example of large-scale sudden disaster is the recent attack of Garissa University students. In large-scale sudden disasters, it's very hard for even to undertake any kind of rescue effort. Because one thing, the enemy is already under control of the scene of disaster. So that is why I'm trying to explain that the right time to have to start working on this data is today, not tomorrow. Because there is very large amount of time for community to enter into problem. The data reflects that all over the world, we are now moving from disasters to large-scale sudden disasters. The other difference between large-scale sudden disasters and disasters is that we can control disasters, but we cannot control large-scale sudden disasters. All this data 1, data 2, data 3, data 4. In order for us to be able to come up with lasting solutions to mitigate disasters in our land, out of this data, we will come up with, first we will have a government map. You see, this is a government map. For example, this is Kenya, and we have in Western Province in Budalangi. Budalangi area is an area prone to floods disasters. During every rain season, people are affected by floods disasters, which claims a lot of lives and damage to property. Now, the first solution is that we get a government map like this one. And then out of that map, we will extract our own map, which is called hazard map. The hazard map, we will check which areas are affected by disasters. In order to know which areas have been affected by disasters, we will go back to the media data. This disaster, these are media reports. Without this one, we cannot do anything. Media reports, including photos and print media data, play a very important role in researching lasting solutions to mitigate disasters. So when we extract this hazard map, we are going back to the data, media data, to see which areas were reported that a certain disaster occurred, and why did that disaster occur in that place? Why did it occur in that place? We will go mapping, highlighting all the disasters areas in our hazard map. And then we will come up with a disaster calendar. We will come up with a disaster calendar, a government calendar. Now, out of this calendar, we will extract our disaster calendar. In order to extract a disaster calendar, we have two types of disasters, natural and man-made disasters. Now we want to see how we can deal with natural disasters, for example. We have seen one of the natural disasters is the flood disasters. We will come up to this calendar. So a good example is like the month of April. It's like the month of April. From 1st March up to 30th June in Kenya, we have long rain period. 1st March to 30th June. And then from 1st October to around 30th December, we also have short rain. So now that this rain, no matter how the period is short or long, this rain are accompanied by, the rain weather patterns is accompanied by floods. Floods which cause destruction to property and loss of life. So having extracted that disaster calendar, that this is the date that we have this period of rain from our country, so and so, we will go to what we call, we will now, after the disaster calendar, we will now go back to hazard map. Which areas are likely to be affected by floods? This one, let's say Budalangi. So out of those areas, we will say what action are we supposed to take before, during, and after a disaster strikes, after the rain strikes, or before the disaster strikes. What action are we supposed to take before, during, and after? From there, we will achieve our desired results, that is to have a safe community. A safe community. Communities are affected by disasters, and the results of disasters are loss of lives and damage of property. They take back years of developments. All developments, they take development back to, they take years back to to development. If God wishes, I invite the world communities, we join together in fight of lasting solutions, how we can free the world from the cruel hands of disasters. You have seen what the disasters have done into our land and the whole world. Everybody has witnessed. We have witnessed, and it's evident that according to this data, during the life period of somebody, one day he or she will confront a certain kind of disaster. I am kindly inviting the world community's experts to come and share with me the little knowledge I have on disasters, the idea I have, because we normally believe that there is no small idea in this world, and ideas can save lives. Ideas can transform lives, ideas can save lives. Considering my academic background, I also have challenges of undertaking all this task alone. I left at standard 7, class 7, that is in Kenya we say CPE. I was not able to go to high school because I was not the only child in need of money in our family, and my parents were middle class family, and then they did not have enough money to take me to high school. So I have challenges for expertise and resources, and then when those whom I invite so that we may work together, they don't accept my invitation. They give me conditions that I have to meet their conditions, that is, pay them salary and our allowances. So I normally do this work alone with just assistance of my father and the available youth within our surrounding. Maintaining the area is done by my father, who does the maintenance, because most of the times I'm away for many days. So he does maintenance of the room to avoid the damage by dust and damage